Hi, welcome to Quick Take. I'm your host, Susie Solomon-Chuck, along with my co-host, James Capps, and we're already laughing, which is a good sign.
Oh, it's such a good sign. And it's a good indicator that, yes, today we've got our special guest come back, brought back Stephanie McHugh, who was a lot of fun last time. So welcome back, Steph.
Thank you. Thank you, James. Hi, Susie. Good to be
Hi,
here.
it's so good to see you. I know James was talking about how there's such a parallel between, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, James, so take it, but between me and you. So
I think that it's so interesting that, the work that you do, Susie, as a coach and working with large teams at offices and events. And then, Steph, you get brought in by executive groups for offsites, for team building, for goal settings. And I think that you both have really great, obviously, professional experiences, but also great insights. And so both of you leverage those in the corporate environment. And so it's just great to have you back, Steph, to give us some more of the insights from the stage.
Thank you. Yeah, it is kind of one of my favorite things to do. And a lot of times people think, oh, I'm going to have a comedian, but I don't want an hour long, we don't have time for an hour to devote to that. A lot of times there's a women's entrepreneur group, the Dames, and they have different chapters all along the Front Range and all over the country, actually. And laughter is one of their core values.
Oh, yeah.
So I will come in and do 10 minutes right up front just to kind of bring the energy up, get that laughter in and that focus. And then they go on and do the rest of their meeting. So that's another thing that I think is fun. You can kind of cater it to that group and
sure.
And then, short and
sweet. It brings people together. I love that that's kind of what the icebreaker is ultimately.
Yeah.
But what a different way of doing it. I mean, I can hear the cringing of our audience when I say the words icebreaker. But to do what an icebreaker does in a very different way is always great. So thank you for joining us again and giving us some insight. So what we have our patent pending 3 pieces of advice that we like to dish out to our quicksters. So what's your first piece of advice?
Yeah, the first thing that I have as I'm looking nonchalantly at my notes.
It was so nonchalantly. Your chalance is very non.
And then when you told us, that kind of took away the chalance.
How do you find things for that group? Like, for example, what I just brought up, I've got 10 minutes. And so I will often interview the person who hired me or some people in that organization just to find out. And I'm not looking for funny things. I'm looking for what's a common
context,
pain.
Okay.
That you have or something like that. For example, I was during the pandemic, they had one chapter in Scottsdale. And so I talked to them and I said, so what are some traits or what? And they go, well, a lot of in Arizona, Scottsdale is considered snobby. We're kind of the, real. And I'm like, you don't want to you can't make fun of them per se. So I kind of spent a day, I'm like, how can I sort of make fun of that? So I just said that they were really bad at it. Like I just met with them, they were super nice. So I don't think you got the memo that you're supposed to be a little snotty. It's not is what they said.
Well done.
Actually.
Yes.
So you just, find something and put a twist on it. Misdirect or what. So that's an example. And it keeps it kind of fun for me. I have the jokes that I've done before that I know are going to work, but it's kind of fun to go, all right, we got this one time that this is going to be relatable and do that. Yeah.
No, I love that. Go ahead,
Sorry, James and I keep jumping on each other. I'm not gonna. Okay, I really like that because when you think about the interests of the team before you walk in and what's going to really land with them, that shows that connection and that dedication to understanding that you're not just bringing a presentation, you're not just bringing a message, you're not just trying to tell them this is how I need you to think differently. You're meeting them where they are. You're kind of showing them that you did your homework and you're invested in this meeting. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I think you're right. But and as a leader, though, to take that into what am I going to do with that every day? It's always about having that connection and being and understanding that the common thread between your teams. And I think when you go into a meeting, it's great to make sure that everyone's aligned. It's great and find a way to create that commonality. And sometimes you do get everybody in a room and you give them an update of what this is the thing we're going to talk about, so we're all on the same page. You can talk about, boy, we had a rough quarter, everybody knows, but it's about creating that cohesion in a group that really allows them to be better. And I think what you're doing there, Steph, is really finding a common rallying cry, creating a unifying message for everybody. And I think that just is a great way to build a team.
I love it. All right, what's your second one?
Okay, the second one is, how do you get people back? Like, let's say, you can tell they're not interested and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
That must be hard when people aren't laughing.
It is. Yeah. I hate it, but also I'm kind of used to it a little. Not used to it. I'm not used to it. Not laughing.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm used to it. I mean, it's every day, but I feel that. Go ahead.
It doesn't throw me. It's like you would think it is. And a lot of times, when you audition for the Friday night late show, because that's the hardest audience. And you do the first show on a Friday, everybody's going out on a date. It's the beginning of the weekend, everybody's excited, and you get up and you're like, I am so funny. It wasn't even hard. This is just you're flying by. And then same night, same venue. Now the show starts at 10 or 10:30. Now everyone's worked all day. They've gone to happy hour. They've had a couple drinks and they're tired. So the energy is just different.
Yeah.
So I think just meet them where they're at. Be okay with it. Don't take it personally. It's so just go with it. Don't try to make them the early show Friday. Be with them there. Be yourself and be with them there. Or make them stand up. Sometimes I think about that in the meeting, like, hey, let's just, stand up and yell something at the person next to you or whatever.
No, but I think that it's so great as a leader that you have to meet people where they are, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll go into a meeting. I've gotten into my staff meeting thinking we're going to have a really detailed discussion around some sort of meaty topic, and I could just tell they're not there. They're not ready for that. We weren't prepped. The energy isn't there. We don't have the right person. And as a leader, you have to be, you have to be very present with your staff. You have to be very present and aware of what's going on with your people. And sure, you can plow through and like in your situation, you can plow through and do your set no matter what's going on in the audience, but that's just not going to be effective. And as a leader, you could just plow through and do whatever you think is going to be right, but that's just not going to be as effective. And I think being connected to your team, being connected to your audience is huge.
This is really hits home for me too, as a coach. And when people are paying me, I feel like I have to bring all the content. And I've had this recent shift that I really need to be in the moment and be in the room. And it's about them and how they're shifting. And so that mindset shift for me has been kind of empowering to be like, it's not about me at all. It's about what am I doing for the people in the room?
Do you find, Susie, do you find sometimes that you're asked to do something and you get there and that's not what you're there for?
Yes.
And Steph, do you sometimes go in thinking that this is going to be the thing that hits and that's not the thing that hits at all? It's something else. That your B set, your B material is the home run.
Yes.
That's really interesting that there's a similarity there.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes this happened recently. I was brought in for a fundraiser and they said what the goal was, but it was actually different. So you kind of have to adjust a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm sorry, James, but sometimes I go in and I intentionally reiterate the goal so that everybody in the room understands that that's our goal so that they know we've hit it at the end. Because if I don't do that, then I don't know, or they don't know what we're going toward.
I don't know that would be great as hello, I'm your comedian for tonight. The goal will be laughter. Now let's take let's go on to the first.
Let's practice.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Or my
But
closer, I
excellent
brought
point.
up this flip chart. Let's go through. See if we hit those
Can we
points.
recap my first 3 jokes?
No, but I do have an idea for you, Steph. If you go to the 10 o'clock version, you say, hey, listen, I'm going to do the same set I did for them. And they laughed hysterically. So it's really up to you. It's up to you on how
I know
you
it's
react,
funny.
because I'm hilarious.
And if you,
Right,
it's,
yeah.
wow, that's, I mean, you may not get paid
You
for
do
that, but it's
in
funny.
Douglas, Wyoming at a bar. Yeah.
All right, what's your third one?
What's the third one there?
I can't remember what it is. I thought I wrote it down.
What
but
do you do before you go in? Not that I know. Do before you go in to get yourself hyped up.
Yeah, that was totally being in the moment. Just a little side note for everyone out there. Yeah, when I'm getting ready, putting on my face and doing my hair, I will listen to another comedian just to kind of get the rhythm or whatever. And sometimes I'll listen to my own set a little bit just to get to make sure I've got the joke, I remember them specifically if it's been a while since I've done those. And then I just tend to be more laid back. That's my, I'm not trying to change myself, but I'm just trying to bring the energy up a little bit more. So sometimes listening to another comedian just sort of helps me get the rhythm. I'm not trying to be them. I'm just sort of enjoying listening to them.
Yeah. It's the same for me. I've learned that if I'm speaking and I'm speaking after another really great speaker, I love following somebody that's
like
really
me?
great.
Like if you,
yeah,
when you follow
if I follow James, I know I'm going to do well.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. But you have to watch the video if you want to know what happened there. But if somebody that has a lot of confidence, just brings my confidence up. And so it's kind of the same thing that you're saying is what is your warm-up music? What is the thing that's going to make you at your best to do right before you walk in?
Right. Sometimes I'll listen to a haka too.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Have you heard of that? Yeah, there's a wedding one that they did at a wedding. So basically, I just feel like that's playing full out. The the energy that they bring. It's so beautiful, and yeah, I just think it's the most beautiful thing to watch them.
Yep, but what I think goes with that though is, if I could, is no, I was just gonna say what I could is that really what that is you have to bring your own energy. It's BYOE. And I think that that as a leader, boy, there's nothing worse than when I can see somebody comes into a room or an executive and they are not there. They're not present. Their energy is down. It affects the room like nothing else. And I find that my job half the time is to bring people to I have to be a cheerleader. I have to be positive. I have to be the spin guy. Because it's if you don't bring that energy, nobody does. And I think both of you in your roles see that and you find ways to get yourself there. And as a leader, there are absolute moments where I'm walking into a room and I have to go, all right, I just got my ass kicked in that last meeting and I gotta just move on. And because this next one has nothing to do with that, but I can't afford this one to be affected by that one. So it's one challenge. Yeah.
That's a great point, James. I wish I could say it's always going to work every time, but sometimes, things just don't work out. And so that's part of the process. And then you just move on. That's great.
Love that.
Yeah. I mean, even as a leader, I think sometimes I go into a room and I'll just have no choice but to say, hey guys, I'm not here. I just got my ass kicked or whatever.
Do you? Do you say that?
Yeah, there are times when it's just the alternative is, look, it's like, it's not being authentic. If you're not present, you're not doing a good set. It's just it's not a good set. And you're getting paid to do it, Steph, and it's a very different scenario. But, I get points, I get paid, if you will, for authenticity as well. And maybe that meeting isn't great, but I'm still getting paid. I'm getting a connection to my team, my rapport, that there's the benefits I still get out of it if I'm just transparent and say, guys, we're gonna have to reschedule because this isn't working right now for whatever reason. And I think that's just my style. So energy is a real thing. So I'll stop my rant there, and I'll wrap it up there. Susie,
Okay,
bring me home.
you go. You go.
I don't know if I can do it. Steph, you had three really good pieces of advice. Can you wrap those up for us?
Yes, I can. How do you find things to talk about that's specific to that group?
Yep. Know your team, know your people. Love it.
Yep. Find, possibly a common pain or something that they have in common.
Yep.
What do you do to get people to focus, right? To get people focused on what you're talking about.
Yeah. Make sure you're all on the same page. Be present with your team.
Yes.
Have everyone together. Love it. Yep.
Right.
Yep. And then the
third
was what
one is for my getting ready is I will, as I'm putting on my makeup and doing my hair, I'll listen to another comedian, and then I'll listen to Haka, which
Love
is a
it.
New
BYOE.
Zealand. Yeah.
Yep. Bring your own energy. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. But three really great pieces of advice that really are applicable to certainly your space, the coaching space, and the leadership space. So thanks so much, Steph.
It was really interesting to look at those different parallels. What a great idea, James, as always.
Great.
So
thank you. It was a lot of fun.
We hope you found this valuable as well. We certainly had fun doing it, and we were definitely in the moment. I'll just say that. So feel free to share this with somebody. Connect with James or I on LinkedIn. Steph, how can people find you?
They can send me an email at stephanie@stephaniemchugh.com. That's a lot of letters. You can also
put it in
on
the show
Instagram
notes.
at Steph, STEPH comedy. Steph comedy. That's
Steph comedy.
That's another way you can send me a message or follow me there. Yeah.
And she's so fun to watch. So it's just fun to have her in my feed every day. So definitely connect with Steph, especially if you have something coming up. And even in, like she said, it's just a small segment. I mean, James, you would definitely leverage that, right?
No, it's a great way of creating not only an interesting energy around the event, but also just something different. And I think that's what a lot of people need for those type of things. So lovely idea.
Great idea.
Duck Goose is another great way to start a meeting as an icebreaker. Just play Duck.
There's a freebie. There you go, Steph. Don't give away the
bonus,
your
not everything.
Secrets there.
Duck Goose. All right, that's another episode. So we'll come back to that and break that down. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate you.